All right, so we're gonna move over to the pros, the NFL, and we're gonna talk about what's been going on with some of these quarterback decisions. If you remember, like probably a little bit over a month ago, we talked about the battles that was going on in a couple of these organizations. Now we got some clear cut definition, and it don't look like he's taking the reins in Chicago. Jay's team look like they're going with Teddy Bridgewater over Drew Lock. Urban Meyer announced that Trevor Lawrence going to be the starter in Jacksonville. Also, we still got four teams that trying to figure it out. I'm gonna say three because I think Jameis Winston's gonna be the starter for the Saints. But we got the Saints, Patriots, 49ers, Eagles. So Jay, I pose this question to you: with the out of the four teams that's undecided, which team you think, no matter who is their starter, it doesn't matter. They gonna stink anyway.
God, I was totally caught off guard by that question too. I thought I was going to get into the three dudes at the top. Nah, I guess I could, but God, I guess we'll get the clown show out the way early. Philly, and I don't even think Philly's like a serious like quarterback thing, but I guess you've been like on the ground, so to speak, with the Eagles fans, hearing the chatter of the birds and all that. So but it don't matter. And I think I've said this previously. Eagles are going to be terrible. Regardless. I think it's a bad situation. I think you get the coach in there, Sirianni or whatever, and he says before the season starts before Carson Wentz gets traded, he's like, man, I think we got two great quarterbacks in here. And I'm like, hey, I don't know if you've like been watching or where you came from. I don't know if you were at sitting on top of Mount Rushmore and the signal wasn't good or something, but they was looking kind of bad last year. Like that was Carson Wentz's worst season. I know Jalen Hurts came in and he showed some flashes, but this team is just like, they kind of like breaking down, like that Super Bowl that they won seemed like ages ago. Doug Peterson, like we thought he was a genius or something. Last year, he didn't look like he could figure anything out. It looked like Frank Reich was the brains behind the operation now. Everybody's like, they got too many like old guys, they're veterans like Jason Kelsey, Zach Ertz, Fletcher Cox. All their good players seem to be like aging, and I don't think they've done the best job reloading. So I think they're going to have significant problems, even though they play in like the worst division in football. But I think they're going to be the doormats over there. I really do. No matter who starts at quarterback, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Joe Flacco, and I feel bad about that because I'd like to see Jalen Hurts succeed. I think he's a good young man. I'd love to see him succeed. But outside, to these other things, I don't think the Saints. I agree with you. I think it's going to be Jameis Winston. I think I watched a little bit Monday. I think you did as well. He looked way more solid than Taysom Hill. And it goes back to that point I've made before. Like, if you start Taysom Hill at quarterback, and you're going to lose all that great stuff that Taysom Hill does because he's Taysom Hill. He can catch passes. He can run with the football. He can block for you. He can do all these different things, special teams. So if you start him at quarterback, I mean, it's not like, hey, Jameis, could you go in there and, like, you want to, like, be on the punt return team or, like, do something? No, you can't do that. So, but I think in Jameis Winston, he's a pure quarterback. So I think you leave Taysom Hill in his role, his Swiss Army knife role, and you just roll with that. And we'll get. I'm not going to spoil the New England. We're going to get into that a little bit later. 49ers, I guess, is the one I'm most unsure of. I'm definitely leaning. Like, I'd go Jimmy Garoppolo, just let him start, see how it goes. Trey Lance, North Dakota State. Maybe you need I think he's regarded maybe as a guy who's a little bit more raw than some of these other quarterbacks. So and Jimmy Garoppolo, he's a proven NFL starter. I know he's got durability issues, but I'd go out there and roll with Jimmy Garoppolo. If he lights it up for you, you can maybe look at trading him on the deadline. Obviously, you think Trey Lance is the future, or you wouldn't have drafted him number 3 overall. So I think you roll with the veteran guy. I think San Francisco got a chance to win a lot of games. I mean, they still got a lot of talent and some really good defensive players. So I'd roll with that. But as far as, the guys that have been named starters recently, I got to tell you, this whole Jacksonville thing where Urban Meyer, like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, if he thinks he's being cute or something. Like, yeah, we got the old quarterback competition between the number one wonder kid, best thing you've ever seen, since Peyton Manning or John Elway, and he uses Pantene Pro V in his hair and all this other thing. Trevor Lawrence, got to get all the foolishness, the superlatives out before say the dude's name. Probably shouldn't even said it. And against Mr. Tour Bus in the summer, short jeans shorter than your girl, and all this crap. Gardner Minshew, you know what I'm saying? So,
what? Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, hold on, say that again.
I'm not running that back. Our host can fill you in on that.
Hold up.
But much as like you thought that comment was ridiculous, this whole idea that this was a legitimate quarterback competition is ridiculous. We know you don't draft a dude first overall to sit behind some 6th-round pick from 2 years ago who kind of looks like he do something, but he's more famous for his mustache than actually what he do on game day. Yeah. So I think that's just been completely foolish. We knew it was going to be Trevor Lawrence, and this whole idea that where you hear some ESPN analyst, I don't know who it was, Orlovsky, or maybe it was somebody, one of these other dudes, but they come on there and they'll talk about, well, actually, I think it would be smart to sit Trevor Lawrence because, the offensive line isn't good, so he's going to get beat up, might get hurt and all this. I don't care. The dude got drafted number 1 overall. Get on in there. The only reason you could, sell me on saying that is if you had a legitimate option who gave you a better chance to win. I don't know, maybe like the 49ers, which I just told you. They don't have that. They got Gardner Minshew, so miss me with that. As far as the other ones, I'm not loving Andy Dalton starting for the Bears. That seems kind of safe and just kind of boring. Like, really, you got rid of Mitchell Trubisky, and now you want Andy Dalton to start. I don't love that. I mean, maybe it could be if it's just one of those things where Justin Fields, he's not ready. Maybe that's it. So we're just gonna go with Andy Dalton for now. Now, I guess I can be okay with that, but I don't love it. I think at some point this season, I think it'll be maybe a month, maybe. I think at most Andy Dalton starts 4 games. He's gonna have 1 or 2 in there where he's not very good. They're gonna start listening to the fans. They're gonna be out there booing because they're gonna have fans in the stands this year. You might not be able to hear them as well because they might have stuff over their face, but they're gonna hear it from the crowd. And Justin Fields, he'll be in there at some point. And as far as Denver, I really don't like making this about myself and the team that I root for. But this is probably the one I guess I'm most okay with, even though I don't love it. I kind of laid this out for you before the show. I like going with I would go with Drew Lock. I'd give him a pretty short leash, but you kind of we know what Teddy Bridgewater is. He's gonna come in here, manage the game. He's not gonna make big mistakes. But he's kind of reached his ceiling, so to speak. Drew Lock is a pretty talented guy. He's shown some really good flashes. Wasn't good last year, but he's also dealt with some injuries. I would trot him out there, see what he can do for you. But if he's not cutting it after 3 or 4 games and he just can't take care of the ball, well, you got the safety net, sitting on the sideline. Teddy Bridgewater, he can come in and stabilize you. But now you do it this way. I'm not sure. If you go with Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know what that does to the young kids, mental makeup. So if they went this way, I think Vic Fangio's left himself, I feel less comfortable now. If Teddy Bridgewater somehow ain't playing well, I don't know if I want to go to Drew Lock because it also says, like you say, what does that say about Drew Lock that he couldn't be that Teddy Bridgewater competition? From what I've seen in the preseason, they both look pretty good. Drew Lock started the first game. Teddy Bridgewater started the second game. They both played pretty well. Bridgewater probably played a little bit better, but that's the one. I don't love that one either, but that's probably the one I guess I'm most positive about, rather than this Andy Dalton thing and this fake quarterback competition they had in Jacksonville.
Hey, so off the rip, out the gate, I'm telling you right now, I agree with your assessment of the Eagles. Hey, that whole team is going to that little prison that they got under the stadium because they gonna suck. They gonna be garbage. So no need to beat that dead horse because it is a dead horse, folks. Now going a dead eagle that simulates a horse, I guess. Andy Dalton, I'm with you here. I floated an ideal, and the more I think about it, like I think I agree. I floated the ideal of, hey man, throw both of them out there in week 1 to see what you got. But like you said, what if you see what you got you didn't really answer the question in week 1, did what you do, right? So I agree with that. So, all right, boom. If they're both neck and neck, you go with the guy that had done it before. Listen, the guy, Justin Fields is a rookie, so I get it. All right, cool. You want to, go with Andy Dalton, it's fine. You know why it's fine? Because I know Justin Fields over there looking like, yo, this dude, like, stop playing with me. Like, this dude ain't done nothing since TCU. So I'm going to be in the starting lineup sooner or later. The red rifle. Yeah, all right. And then, going down there to Jacksonville, here's the deal. Like you said, I don't know, man. This love affair with Trevor Lawrence. Like, hey man, go get your paper. Do what you gotta do. Just you rolled it up quite nice. He best prospect since John Elway. Oh, the second coming of Andrew Luck before the retirement, and all this other stuff that they have to say. I'm not seeing it. I don't know. Listen, somebody gonna have to roll that beautiful beam footage of him in high school and let me see something, because I'm sorry, his Clemson career was average. His career wasn't better than Tua's. And that's the player he gets compared to the most, because Tua was 1 year ahead, but that's the player he gets compared to. I don't think his career was better than Tua's, and I don't even hit me with Tua had more weapons. Oh yeah, because Clemson was just out here looking like NC State, right? Yeah, their roster was looking terrible, right? Come on, man.
Yeah, I've never heard of T. Higgins or Justin Ross or any of these fellas.
Oh man, Travis Etienne, who? Oh man, and don't even get me started on that. One of the greatest defensive lines in college football history. So, with all that said, like, I don't know, man. I mean, the rubber's gonna meet the road. He's number 1 pick. He's gonna have to play, and I think reality's gonna hit him pretty fast. I don't wish any bad, ill will on a young guy. I mean, go out there and do your thing, but I just think, man, he gets a lot of pressure applied to him, and now it's time for him to live up to it. And maybe one time in his life, maybe if somebody just tell him, yo, you're not up to snuff. Hey, missed you. Get in there with your mustache. Show him how it's done in a pro game, a real pro game. And I'm not saying it gotta last forever, but so maybe somebody should just tell Trevor Lawrence no one time in his life and stop hyping every doggone thing he do. But that's neither here nor there. Going over to the Broncos, like you said, my number 1 thing is this. Like you said, it made sense to start Drew Lock and then bring in Bridgewater, but I'm like, what in the hell was Drew Lock doing in training camp? Clearly, he wasn't winning the job. So what was he doing? Clearly, like I got to know. Somebody got to show me the footage, because I'm like, you got beat out by Bridgewater, and they didn't even want him in Carolina after they paid him. So I'm trying to figure out what could he have been doing so well that Drew Lock couldn't do. I mean, y'all got the same receivers. Y'all calling the same plays. I mean, he wear 2 gloves. You probably wear 1. I don't know. But what's the problem, Drew Lock? This team was kind of built to be given to you, and you have yet to take it. You have yet to accept it. So I don't know what that's about. And then to the other undecideds, listen, the Saints' job ain't undecided to me. That's Jameis Winston. I don't know. Sean Payton, he trying to be cute and stay loyal to his boy Taysom. But listen, go ahead and knock that off. Get Taysom Hill. Let him throw, run, catch, coach, whatever else he does. Let him do it all. But he's done being the quarterback. Go ahead. You gave him his shot. Do we not remember when Taysom Hill was the starting quarterback when Drew Brees was down? It ain't like he hasn't got his shot. You might have forgot about it because it wasn't so hot, but he got his shot. It's time to move on. Pack him up. The 49ers, I agree with you. Jimmy Garoppolo should definitely be the starter in week 1. Listen, as much as I like to see the old once in the game Hail Mary from Trey Lance that somehow finds somebody's hands and he in the end zone, I like seeing that. But I just don't know if that's the recipe to win games right now. So you go, listen, what, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, Jimmy Garoppolo was in the Super Bowl. We do remember that, right? I mean, the guy did make it to the Super Bowl. So I got it. He's hurt every other game. I know that's true. But listen, put a little respect on his name. You know what I mean? Like, he was in the Super Bowl. I got it. You know, he did. You know, he did have some stolen valor over there with the New England Patriots. I got it. But at the end of the day, he was in the Super Bowl. So, you know, let the man start week 1. Let him build up the real estate so he can get traded somewhere. Because that's what looks like is going to happen is if he play well enough, somebody acquire about him and they'll get him on out of there for a 5th round pick. So it is what it is. Now, with all that said, right? With all that said, now that I got that off the chest, right? I got a question. Do you think Trevor Lawrence could play bad enough that Gardner Minshew do come in to be starting for Jacksonville?
I guess he could. I mean, and clearly, like, I guess if you believe Urban Meyer, like, I don't know what's going on. I guess, like, I think there's always, in most cases, like, unless, like, I guess 75% of quarterback positions who, if you're not Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or guys like that, you know, Russell Wilson, like, I don't think those guys could ever, like, lose their jobs unless they, like, just were terrible for the entire year or something crazy happened. But, like, for young guys like Trevor Lawrence, I guess there is a scenario where he could play that badly. But, I mean, he drafted him #1 overall. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, like, you stuck with him, right? You know, like, you can't just, like, oh, God, he ain't cut it. You got to make it work. That's I guess, why you have coaches and all that. So, and I guess also the other point, just to go back about the whole, I think the problem I have is not with Trevor Lawrence, who by all accounts seems like a great kid. I think the problem we have more than with him is just the whole, like, the hype train.
Yeah.
The hype train from
right.
You know, the media, which just has put him on this pedestal. And, you know, hopefully he can live up to it, because if not, I think it's going to be somewhat disappointing. And it does. Right. I gotta tell you, I think we've kind of seen eye to eye on this for a while. And it's a very simple point. He played in a football machine in Clemson, and like the same can be said for, like, Alabama quarterbacks, you know, and Ohio State. You know, there's programs, there's different programs to where you have it. You got it a little bit easier in college, you know, just because, like, you got all the talent with you based on, like, who can recruit the best player. There's a huge difference between Clemson and Jacksonville. And the preseason game Monday night, it reminded me in a way of the college football playoff semifinal game against Ohio State last year, when Ohio State's front, defensive line dominated Clemson's offensive line. And that's what it looked like the New Orleans Saints were doing to Jacksonville's offensive line. I know they were missing, a couple starters up there, but that's where it all starts. If you can't block them up, any quarterback's going to be in trouble.